Hi everybody, and welcome to the first video of potentially many videos. I am Josh Halbert. I am an artist. I own Halbert Co. Studios, and I want to talk to you today a little bit about my artwork, and in the following videos I'll talk a little bit about more of the creation and why I do what I do. Um, I started creating about 2 years ago in the terms of art paint, but I've been creating much longer than that. Most of my creations are done by my imagination and just whatever comes out onto the canvas. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not so pretty, but I do create various styles and various images. Typically, the style that I fall into most often is landscapes. I do dabble in abstract quite a bit. I play with acrylic, and I typically paint with both acrylic, automotive paint, and with resin. I use that sometimes to kind of a cast, and that's really recent that I do that. Um, most of my paintings don't come to completion until long completed. I mean that because the idea itself isn't fully formed when I start painting. My imagination takes hold of the canvas, and I generally get a picture of what I want to do while I'm doing it, which is a little bit different than some. Others, I'm sure out there have done it too, but the style of it changes quite differently and drastically sometimes. So just really quick, I'm going to show you a few of the ones that I've already done, and then in following videos I will explain not only the ones that I'm showing you, but I will explain some of the other work that I've done, and then how to get there. So the first one that I want to show you is this one right here. It's really kind of hard to see. I apologize about the light. But as you can tell, this one was done using automotive paint. And the focus where I wanted to go with it is I kind of wanted to illustrate kind of the mood of a storm, and the water itself. I had the idea of what I wanted to do the water, and it just kind of took form from there with the lightning and with the trees and all that. The darkness is intentional, primarily because I wanted to kind of create this mood of eerie, spooky. I think it worked. Remains to be seen by the viewer. Art is a concept in itself, and no art in itself is bad. No art is bad. The only bad art is the art that was never created to begin with, because nobody ever has a chance to truly enjoy it, to include the artist himself. The other one I want to show you is this one here. Again, this is a resin painting. It's kind of hard to see with the light. It's very reflective. You can see my phone there. Yay, reflections. But you can see that it is done with resin and automotive paint. What it does is the resin kind of holds a lot of the paint binding the automotive, so it helps it separate quite a bit, and it creates this really cool cells and this cool separation from the canvas, even though it's hardened. And what I mean by hardened is it's actually a gloss surface. It's solid, so it makes it really easy to clean, especially because you can just wipe it off. You don't have to use any special methods to clean it at all. So the only thing that resin has that is kind of a downside to it is that over time, in direct sunlight, it will yellow some. That's going to happen. That's a problem with resin. There's not much I can do about that. Another one I want to show you is this one here. This one is done really recently. Again, kind of hard to see, and a part of that is the lighting. I got to work on that. But what you'll see, what you'll notice, is that it kind of has like a watery texture to it. Even though it looks flat, it appears to actually be moving, and or that it has divots in it, which it does not. So really fun there. Again, most of my creations are done by my imagination, and typically at the moment that I'm doing it. I currently have been painting for the last 2 years. In the time that I've been painting, I've come a long way, at least in my opinion. I started with a 5x6 card, and it kind of just went from there. And I've done it ever since. I've done it every day since. Some cases, for lack of better words, a little angrily sometimes. Not because I'm painting, but because I'm rushed for time. I currently work a full-time job outside of painting, so normally I'm creating between the hours of like 6 to 1 a.m. almost every night of the week. So if I'm not painting, I'm drawing, and it takes quite a bit of my time. And then when I'm not drawing or painting, I'm typically uploading to social media sites, uploading to my websites, which you can find me at halbertcostudios.com. You can find me on Instagram at instagram.com/josh.halbert. Um, and then you can also find me on Facebook. I'm on there as well. For Facebook, it's Halbert Co Studios is the web page that you can go to. It's under Facebook pages, so you can definitely find me there and like my work if you'd like to, or comment or follow. I love hearing positive feedback or negative feedback. I'm open to any constructive criticism. I'm fine with that. A little bit more about me. I currently live in Aurora, Colorado, with the man of my dreams for the last 9 years. It's been an awesome time, and I look forward to the future of it. I think there's plenty of time in the future. I don't see that going away anytime soon, which is definitely a positive. I'm from Grand Junction, Colorado, which is on the western slope of Colorado. For those that live here, they kind of know what I'm talking about. It's a great place to visit, and some places live, depending on who you are. Personally, I found that it was my time to leave Grand Junction back in 2001, and I joined the Army. I did that for 6 years. I got out, kind of struggled a little bit, because when I got out, unfortunately, I got out because I was honorably discharged under the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy. It was kind of a major smack. It hit me pretty hard. I struggled with PTSD. I struggled with anxiety for a real long while. Eventually, I wound up finding my way into the automotive world and started working as a mechanic, even though I struggled really pretty hard with that, because it wasn't that I couldn't diagnose the work or that I couldn't do the work. It was because I would feel so anxious to do the work that sometimes I would fall short of completing it or getting it done on time or getting it completely done correctly. So I'd have cars coming back multiple times for the same repair. So I wouldn't say I was the worst mechanic out there, but I probably wasn't the best. Eventually, I took up art. I took up art because the man of my dreams decided that I needed to find something to do with my time that didn't upset him or piss him off, because I was getting to be very anxious and very frustrating and very hard to be around. So he felt that I needed to find a hobby. Believe it or not, I tried playing with clay. That didn't work out well for me. I created a little Power Rangers guy. It lasted all of, I don't know, about a week and a half, and decided that wasn't going to work. So I picked up, I should say, he asked me to try painting. Just try it, see where you go with it, see if you like it. So it started off with a little 5x6 card, and I tried creating a tree and a waterfall and such with it. And I can tell you that I struggled. I had a hard time with it. But in the end, though, I truly enjoyed it. It was the one thing that kept me, it kept me level. It brought me back a little bit more down to earth, and it actually made me happy to spend the time painting. So that little postcard turned into multiple little cards. Those cards turned into multiple little boards, art boards that I did. And then from the art boards, it turned into canvases, and then I now have a huge amount of commissioned paintings that I've done and completed and mailed and sent off to the new prospective owners. I've got a bunch of paintings that now are standing by, ready to go to their new homes. So going forward, what I'd like to do is I'd like to share my experiences, share my art with you and anyone else that's willing to view it. So by all means, and then if you like what I'm doing, make sure that you follow and you subscribe if you're viewing this on YouTube, and you'll be definitely able to see more of my work and more of what I'm doing. I do take constructive criticism, so I love hearing feedback, whether good, positive, or bad. So be sure to do that too. If you got something to say, let me know. So I'm gonna wrap this up. It's a little short this time around, but it's kind of just an introduction. I wanted to share a little bit who I am and what I'm about to do. A couple other things about me too, real quick, is that I also am trying to put together an event. It's called HCS Art Fest, which is Halbert Co-Studios Art Fest. I'm kind of hoping that I can get that going soon. Unfortunately, with the pandemic and with everything that's going on currently, it's really hard to put that together. With state health orders and such, that's not something I can do right away. I do have to wait a little bit. So for the time being, we are going to be doing this in my ready-made studio, as you see behind me. And I'm going to share with you what I'm doing. So please follow along and subscribe or follow if you're on those websites. So if you got any questions, feel free to message me, and I'll definitely answer anything you guys have. Even willing to give pointers. So thanks so much for listening, and thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys soon.